Isn't it strange that Tesla has a low environmental, social, and governance (ESG) score, but a bunch of obviously undeserving oil companies have high scores? When you compare what Tesla is doing for the environment to how oil companies benefit from polluting our environment, it simply doesn't make sense. Tesla CEO Elon Musk once pleaded with large fund owners to stop misleading investors and correct Tesla's ESG score. He said this while responding to an article in which Tesla addressed its low ESG score in its influence report, stating that current ESG reports do not assess the extent of the beneficial impact on the globe. It was not only Musk that felt the need to talk about this topic. One of Tesla's board members, Hiroshi Mizuno, also felt so. He added that Tesla wasn't against ESG investment, but wanted the rating scheme to be fair. This would include looking at more positive impacts companies have on the world, and not just the negative ones. I'll compare Tesla's ESG score to the scores of 4 oil and gas businesses that, according to Investopedia, protect the environment. I could be wrong, but I don't believe any of the oil and gas giants really care about the environment. They may sponsor efforts and strive for carbon neutrality, but it's the fossil fuels themselves that are causing climate change. While ESG is in its early stages, it's already gained considerable attention. By September 2021, it had received approximately $330 billion in funding in the United States alone. Businesses are assessing their organizations and asking themselves how they can get someone to oversee their ESG initiatives. Who has the knowledge? Who controls the infrastructure? Which group has the expertise to assist the company in developing an ESG strategy, as well as managing due diligence, adherence, and reporting? What we're witnessing is that ESG is making its way onto the corporate compliance practices desk. With their expertise in doing research, analyzing huge volumes of information, creating insights, and giving them to business leaders in the form of recommendations or decision support, compliance experts are well prepared to bring value to the effort. However, much work remains to be done in order to design corporate ESG activities and decide how to properly integrate them with a company's compliance and risk management processes. While ESG initiatives have their origins in decades-old corporate social responsibility (CSR) programs, the more recent forerunner is GRC, or Governance, Risk, and Compliance. It's divided into 3 domains: governance, which refers to how an organization is led and managed; risk, or the impediments to attaining company objectives and potential accidents that can result in loss; compliance, which is adherence to regulatory rules. It's also necessary to prevent penalties and fines, as non-compliance can make brands untrustworthy in the eyes of business partners and customers. Basically, Tesla fills out all of these domains and has no reason to be given such a low score. GRC frameworks are supposed to assist companies in improving decision-making processes and removing barriers between departments, resulting in less fragmented and more streamlined workflows. After GRC, ESG can be called the next phase. ESG frameworks address a company's behavior in terms of environmental and social governance. It's not only about a company's carbon footprint, but also about how environmentally and socially responsible its supply chain is. Are your supply chain participants conducting business with companies that have a poor record for environmental protection in their own country or questionable political ties? Are there any third parties in their supply chain potentially endangering the organization's reputation by doing business with a company owned by unsavory individuals who are also attempting to conceal their ownership in that company? Of course, Tesla meets all these requirements without a fuss. But let's take a look at Tesla's ESG score and compare it to a few oil firms that ESG thinks are environmentally friendly. According to Sustainalytics, Tesla's ESG score is 28.5 with a medium risk. A lower score is preferable. In the global universe, Tesla ranks 41 out of 82 autos and 8,192 out of 14,666. Tesla's score is determined by 2 factors: exposure and management. The degree to which the corporation is exposed to various material ESG issues is referred to as exposure. The exposure score considers sub-industry and company-specific characteristics such as the company's business model. Tesla was said to have medium exposure. Management refers to a company's ability to manage its relevant ESG concerns. The management score evaluates a company's ESG programs, procedures, and policies. Tesla's ESG material risk management received an average rating. Back in 2021, Investopedia published an article on the top 4 oil corporations that safeguard the environment, highlighting the 4 businesses and their public image concerns. We obtained the ESG ratings of these oil firms for comparison with Tesla. First, we have Royal Dutch Shell's ESG score is 35.1, with a high risk of exposure and a strong management rating. Next is Total Energies SE, which has an ESG score of 29.2, with a medium risk of exposure and strong management. Repsol SA has an ESG score of 26.7, indicating a medium risk and strong management. Equinor ASA has an ESG score of 32.0, indicating a high risk and strong management. I also checked ExxonMobil's score out of curiosity. Last year, an Exxon plant was declared to be the most polluted in the country. Exxon received a score of 36.6 for high risk and strong management. There were 2 oil giants with higher scores than Tesla, OMV AG and Repsol, both of which were under 28.5. Mercedes-Benz and BYD outperformed Tesla among automakers. According to a report released in February 2022 by the GRC World Forum, the scoring of Tesla's ESG is remarkably similar to that of figure skating. The report referred to Elon Musk himself as a likely explanation for the poor score. I found the scoring comparison to be intriguing. The author noted in the comparison that judges award prizes for aesthetics, presentation, execution, challenge level, and so on. Depending on how exhausted the skater is at the time of the performance, certain techniques may receive greater ratings. However, if they perform something really tough, the rating system still has a ceiling or maximum result for it. Tesla accomplished this in the category of creating a product that aids in the fight against climate change. Following this, the author blamed Elon Musk for their low score. Tesla ranks poorly in terms of openness, labor relations, and adherence to governance, such as having a CEO who does not put out random tweets. The author went on to say that Tesla's statement from its 2019 impact assessment did not exactly endear Tesla to those who calculate ESG scores. What did Tesla say to irritate the judges? Well, they asserted that creating a meaningful and long-term influence on environmental sustainability is impossible to achieve without ensuring long-term financial sustainability. Tesla has a higher ESG rating than most oil corporations, as well as other automakers such as Volkswagen and Toyota. This represents an improvement above last year's score. Musk has helped create an EV triumph, but they say he must remember he's mortal. They also say that the good he's done does not give him the right likes. Just like with skating, you can lose marks for poor execution. It appears that emotions, rather than data, may impact ESG scores. I'm hoping this isn't the case, and I agree with Elon Musk on this point. These rating methods must account for both the company's positive and negative effects. With Tesla's recently released 2021 impact report, I believe we can see a lot more of the good Tesla is doing for the global environment. After all, Tesla's objective is to accelerate the transition to sustainability, and its employees are working extremely hard to achieve those goals. One thing that struck me was Tesla's tour to the Democratic Republic of Congo and Argentina to not only examine the environmental risk but also help the inhabitants. If ESG rankings included more of a company's positive and negative environmental impacts, it might push oil corporations and other companies with low scores to strive for a better environmental impact. This manhunt of Tesla will restrict investors who want to invest only in environmentally beneficial enterprises from investing in polluters. The company noted that the existing ESG reports don't qualify the extent of the beneficial impact on the world, which is the largest mistake. Instead, it focuses on the monetary worth of risk/return. Individual investors who put their money in ESG funds managed by huge investing firms may be unaware that they can be used to acquire stock in companies that worsen rather than improve climate change. Tesla mentions measuring the impact of the car industry as an example. While the ordinary investor may believe that the more electric vehicles a car maker sells as a percentage of total volume, the truth is quite different. ESG ratings are estimated to rise as long as the business continues to marginally cut emissions from its manufacturing activities while also launching internal combustion engine vehicles. However, vehicle use phase emissions, which account for 80 to 90% of all overall automotive emissions, are frequently misreported due to unrealistic assumptions or are not reported at all. As a result, certain oil and gas businesses rank higher than Tesla on environmental impact, which, as we know, is simply false. To support its conclusion, Tesla said the most striking characteristic of the ESG rating system is how rarely a company's performance on climate change appears to get in the way of its rise up the ESG ladder, or even to factor at all. Based on the facts, Tesla proposed what it believed would help resolve the matter. The manufacturer is convinced that what's required is a system that tracks and revises the actual meaningful impact on our world, so uninformed individual investors can choose to support firms that can make and prioritize constructive change. On the product front, Tesla advocated that companies be compelled to provide real-world values wherever remotely possible and to clearly identify when estimations are supplied but not actual numbers. For example, emissions from automobiles in use, which account for the vast majority of life cycle emissions, are reported based on car manufacturers' projections but nearly never represent actual facts. Automakers frequently have access to this data, but intentionally fail to disclose it. While many ESG ratings ask whether an ESG concern has an influence on the company's profitability, Tesla emphasizes the need for a system that assesses the beneficial impact a company's expansion has on the world. This evolution of ESG must be backed by institutional investors, rating agencies, public corporations, and the general public, so that the world sees major positive influence and firms begin to communicate about their true impact. Thanks for watching. Until next time.